Okay, mate. Okay. So, you're saying Shaz's wallet? Okay, Lars. So it's a sprint race, which is kinda dead. Jesus. economy. So we're doing it at Monza, which is probably because obviously maybe it was the first race of thingy BP. But we now wait. Don't know why there's only 10 drivers. So many people ticked in. See here, 20 ticked, including me. So 19 without me, and there's only 10 drivers. 11, there we go. Crapbacks. Voice chat disabled due to lobby inactivity. Voice chat will resume at the start of the next event. So when are we going then? It is 7 o'clock. Oh, 14. All right, so we're going now. We're kind of late. All right, we're going. So, as we do that, it's one-shot qualifying, but we need to talk about Monza. Um, so it's actually called the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. It was opened in the 3rd of September 1922. The length of this track is 5.7 kilometers, and it has usually on all of F1, F2, and F3, and in some other kind of racing as well. The fastest lap record is a 1:21.046 by Rubens Barrichello in the Ferrari in 2004. We obviously know the corner names. We can know them off by heart. Because obviously we have the first chicane, then we have Curva Grande, then we have Lesmo, or Della Roggia, then Lesmo, then Ascari, and then Parabolica. I don't actually know what the first one's called. I think it's called Retiflo here. So we're going in one-shot qualifying. So here we go. Everyone's laps are now going to get kicked off here at the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix. And here we go. It's currently BP Reggie, then it's Tab, then followed by YZ, then Mormonic, then Olaf, then Cryplax. Mormonic's actually gone up to, oh, never mind, he's dropped back down, but it's currently Olaf in the lead. Now it's Cryplax. Let's go on board with the Alfa Romeo driver. Alfie Hudson has retired from the session, so he will be starting at the back of the grid. However, Cryplax makes his way now into the Della Roggia. By the way, let's look at this. So everyone's going to softs, obviously. There we go. So, going through now the corners. It's currently Olaf. Oh! Olaf has just lost his rear, and that's sick as muck. In P13, he's going to be starting P13 as he's stopped in the Curva Grande. BP Raji going now into the Ascari chicane. You have to hit the apexes cleanly on these ones, and then it's the two Aston Martins of YZ and Steps, and then Sikasmuk has been disqualified, so it's actually Alf Hilton in 13th, then Sikasmuk. But around the final corner, BP Reggie is going to get pole position in the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix. Then it's followed by the Steps, then it's YZ, then Martin, then Tab, Marin, Cryplax, Carlox, Alpha Dirk, Alfie Hudson, Mormonic, Alpha Olaf, and Sikasmuk. So Dirk's not even at Parabolica yet. BP Reggie's teammate is now going to make his way into Parabolica. Okay, mate. So Carlox in the Mercedes gets P8. So, looking at this is looking like something that could be expected. So let's look at the incidents. So we have had 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why these 4 were disqualified. Hi, I'm back, but not for long. Hello there. At least you're here. That's all that matters. Sikasmuk with a disqualification for being parked in a dangerous location, and Dirk with an actual retirement. So Alfie Hudson doesn't say he DNF'd or anything. Maybe just retired in general, but yeah, he did. Just said that. So we go into the sprint. 9 laps, 11 corners, 5.7 kilometers, if I remember correctly. 2 DRS zones, and you guys know the rest. This will obviously determine where. Thank you. So we're gonna go lights out at Monza. It is 11 past 7. 14 drivers driving into there. Could be more. They could have joined overtime. So eventually we will load in. The other drivers will have to choose their strategies and we'll be on our way. Here we go. One night and its formation lap is underway. So let's go back through the grid and so it's BP Reggie on pole position. Then it's followed by Steps, YZ, Shaz, Martin, Tab, Marin, Kryplax, Carlox, Alfie, Dirk, Monix, who spun, Alpha, Olaf, Sikismuk, who has been disqualified, so has YZ, and then Lussie. And Lussie's hit Olaf, so they're going to be disqualified as well. So everyone's on the soft tyre. I don't think anyone should be pitting. Currently don't need the gap, so. Yeah, let's just keep it like this. So YZ's been disqualified. Steps. Has he disconnected? I believe he has disconnected from session. But here we go. Reggie is gonna park in his slot. Now he starts to brake. There's Shaz. And into Reggie's spot. Park with excellent precision. There you go. So these camera angles are not the greatest, to be honest with you. But here we are. And wait for the Alfa Romeo of Alfie Hudson. The Steps has rejoined. So 5 red lights here in Monza for the 2-year anniversary. It is lights out and away we go. It's a great start for Reggie. A little bit of wheel spin going down the straight. Martin's up into P2, going down into the first chicane. There's someone stopped, and that's Sigismund. But we go down into the first chicane, and that is YZ flying off the track, and that has definitely caused something bad, and that's a disqualification for Sick. And YZ has got 3-second penalty for corner cutting, but it's Reggie that leads. Then it's followed by Martin, Tab, Marin, Kryplax, Dirk, Alfie, Olaf, Carlox. But as we make our way into Lesmo 1, it's going to go down into Lesmo 2. Everyone is just trying to keep within kind of the track limits, going down the straight now, and it is all neck and neck now. It's Tab versus Martin here for P2, going down into the Ascari chicane. This could also open up some opportunities for team principals to sign some drivers from Division 2 and 3. But here we go, down the straight, Tab with an actual Division 1 driver, a Division 1 driver against a Division, I don't know what division he's in. Is Damper going to go down the inside? No, he's not. Yes, he is actually going into Parabolica. And this is great racing here. Down the inside. He gets the slot behind. And it's the fast lap from Reggie. But Tab pulls to the left. The speed is being carried here. He can't make the move. Or is he going to send it into the first chicane? There's almost contact between the two drivers. This is absolutely beautiful racing. And it's Tab ahead. Still side by side, down the inside into Curva Grande. That's a great move by Tab. And that's Carlox. Speaking of Tab's teammate, who is around. Okay, what's going on there? Anyway. Tab losing his rear a little into the gravel, but keeps his place. Martin closely behind him. And what is going on with the interval thing? Hopefully that fixes soon. And that's a bit of rear spin again from Martin. So he just crashes on purpose. It's the virtual safety car. And once again, like he did in the Ferrari, he crashed on purpose. Or just into the wall in general. Martin's left the session. Oh, for a sec I thought he was boxing. So we're probably about to get back underway. Yep, we're back underway. Going to the first chicane. DRS is enabled. Now, as BP Reggie has got a fairly large gap on a Tab, YZ has made the move on Alfie Hudson for P8. Don't forget he's got the 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And that's Alfie Hudson round at the exit of the chicane. He's going to spin back around and maybe gain some places back. But anyway, Reggie into Lesmo 1. Tab 1.5 seconds behind him, and Reggie is doing an absolute flyer now down the straight. So no DRS. We don't have DRS until Kryplax gets his DRS on Dirk, and that's Mormonic. And it's a VSC spun at the exit of De La Roggia, and that's 2 VSCs in very short fashion. And Alfie Hudson has got speeding on the VSC. And he's retired as well. Hopefully that doesn't bring out the full safety car. It shouldn't. But it could. Obviously. And we're back underway. And this driver's getting penalties here. We've got 2 drive-throughs. Oh, 1 drive-through. And then a couple 3-second penalties. But we're actually back underway for the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix, and it's actually going to be Kryplax going to try and overtake Dirk. Mormonic's in the pits with Kryplax. He's going to pull to the left. He's going to pull back into the right. The door gets shut on him. Going back now into the De La Roggia chicane. Dirk clips the gravel, so does Kryplax. Going now down into Lesmo 1. Down into Lesmo 2, we're going to go down the straight. And Kryplax goes wide off his line. Olaf hits his rear. And Olaf will be probably reporting to the stewards about that moment. Anyway, so any other fights going on is still a fight for P4. But Mormonic, almost 40 seconds behind Carlox, and probably like 50 seconds behind the lead, 55 actually. But Olaf around the outside of Kryplax. And Olaf is making all those places back, and everyone's saying fastest laps. Beat of the rising sun, beat of the rising sun. Anyway, going down into the next chicane, and Ferrari have got that livery. So let's say that's livery to represent the 2 years of BP racing, and that's Dirk. Dirk is round at the chicane, and that is very unlucky. However, we've still got a sprint race to commentate. It's Lussie gaining on steps. Don't forget, Lussie started at the back after joining late. And now, going into Lesmo 1, and going to go down into Lesmo 2, and it's all speed that Lussie can bring. Going down into Lesmo 2, down now, the DRS straight. He does have DRS. Steps is 5 seconds behind, and that's a yellow flag again, and that's Carlox again at the exit of Lesmo 1 this time. Oh, Lussie with his rear. Still going down the straight, and he's going to go as fast as he can once again into Parabolica, and that's Tab in the pits. Tab in the pits for his drive-through penalty. And he's now chose to do it. I don't know if that's a good move or not. But let's look at Olaf and Marin. I believe the two brothers are fighting here for position. They push each other around, and that's Kryplax. Kryplax has seen the two fighting each other, banging wheels, and Kryplax has just basically slid through like a snake. And going to the La Roche chicane, it is an all-out 4-driver fight for P3 here. And now Kryplax has zoomed away and is out of DRS range for Marin. And now Olaf, behind him, is now going to charge with DRS lap open, going into Ascari. YZ's overtaken Alpha. But what a move by Olaf. There's contact between the two drivers. And Alpha, down the straight, on board, as now... Is he going to overtake? Yes, he does. Into P4 goes Alpha. Into Parabolica. And Olaf is also, just like Kryplax, he has run away. So now we are down to 3 drivers for this fight. And now to fight for P4. And everyone is kind of spread out all across the circuit. And Alpha's lost both positions. YZ gone up into P4. Going into the chicane now. They're all just behind each other like a queue for the dinner, for lunch at school. Going down into Curva Grande. And this is looking like beautiful fighting from these 3 drivers. Down the straight into the Della Roggia chicane. And Alpha is just right at the rear of Marin. Let's go on board with Alpha. Going into Lesmo 1. Alpha, once again, with a bit of a rear spin. But down the straight, Alpha has catched the second wind. ERS, gear 8, top speed. And into Ascari, where he brakes early, and that's a 3-second time penalty. We've already had 5, 6 penalties, maybe even 7, in the space of 7 laps in a sprint race. Oh my god, the actual race is gonna have a lot of penalties, I'm telling you that. And Monic is a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. He's about to get lapped anyway. I see why he's trying to get away from Reggie. But it's just not gonna work. Steps has been overtaken by a lot of yellow flags, and that's Carlox again. And Carlox has his rear spinning and spinning, and he will probably be starting P11 for the Grand Prix. For the actual Grand Prix, for the actual race. And Olaf is in now DRS range of Kryplax. So, out of all of this, Kryplax is, after that beautiful move on the 2 Vanderkamps, may have all backfired, as Olaf is now 7/10 behind the Alfa Romeo, and now going into the Ascara chicane. Alfa swims by Marin in absolute style up into P5, and that's a great move by Alfa in the Ferrari. And YZ's also starting to drift away, and that's Olaf up into P2, down the inside into Parabolica. Kryplax is not going to give up. He may not have DRS, but the fact is that both of them are harvesting. Gonna say that Olaf is harvesting, and Dirk is out, and that's a 10-second penalty for corner cutting from Monic. And I'm surprised he's still not disqualified. I mean, oh, wrong button. Let's look at the penalties. He has 19 seconds. He's on the wets. Well, no wonder he's being lapped. So looking at the position change, Olaf has gone from P13 to now P2, and that will be the driver of the day for the sprint, according to the system. I'm telling you that right now. P11 is, well, now Dirk, DNF'd Dirk. And there we go, there's Reggie. Telling you right now, he's going to cut through the first chicane again. But anyway, Kryplax is looking to get revenge on that overtake for P2, and Kryplax is going to try and go around the outside into Parabolica. Olaf with the inside line. Around they go, and they stay behind, and Kryplax stays behind. And the race is finished, and it's Reggie for P1 in sprint race, and it was pole position, sprint race P1, Kryplax P3, then will be Marin P4, YZ P5, Alpha P6, Steps P7, Lassie P8, Tab P9, Carlox P10, Monic P11, Dirk P12, pardon me, Alfie Hudson 13th, Martin 14th, who left the session, Sigismund P15. So now we wait for the other drivers to cross the line. One's a Parabolica, the one's not even in Ascara yet. That's a lot of penalties. So now obviously some people have left. So yeah. And once again, we wait for the drivers to select their strategy, select their I think setups. Don't know if Park Ferme is on. We can check that one. Never mind. So, formation lap is underway. So, on pole, we have Reggie. That's Olaf, Corplax, Marin, Moisey, Alpha, Steps, Lossie, Tab, Carlox, Mormonic, Dirk, and here we go. Sigismund is actually moving, so... Wait, is he in AI mode though? No, he's not. Martin in AI mode, Alfie, and them lot. BPRL going off the track and ghosting. Just before Della Roggia. I'm sorry, but what are these camera angles? I'm sorry, but they are terrible. Now look at these, man. You can't even see the lights. Now here you can. So here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5, and it's lights out! And away we go once again for the BP Racing League 2-year anniversary Grand Prix. It's a great start for BP Reggie. It's a great start for Krypax, who is side by side with Reggie. But it's 3 wide. Going to the first chicane. There's contact. There's contact everywhere. Everyone's hitting banging wheels. And that's Wisey going off the track. But Olaf is ahead out of all of this chaos. Carlox has spun once again. Down now into P15, but down the straight, and it's Olaf van der Kamp in the lead. And Reggie has lost the title of first place, and he can't do the Grand Slam here. Or maybe he can. He's now falling back into Marin, and it could be a Van der Kamp 1-2. Here are the possible race strategies for this Grand Prix. It's soft to medium, medium to hard. Speaking of tyres, let's look at their tyres. So we've got 3 drivers on hards, 3 on mediums, and 9 on softs. So they're all on the 3 times table, obviously. But Marin, with all the speed he can get, going to try and overtake Reggie, going now into Parabolica. And Sigismund has been overtaken. Fights back though. Olaf with the fastest lap, obviously, and Marin is up into P2. And here we go, Mormonic and Dirk going into the first corners. And is he ahead though? Into Parabolica, around the, not Parabolica, Curva Grande, around the outside. The house is still keeping side by side. Now going back down into the Della Roggia. There's contact yet again. And these two are really fighting each other to the edge. Going to Lesmo 1. And that's Monic off the track. Goes into the wall additionally. And Carlos swims by to go up into P14, and the dodgy gap is back again. On board with steps. Can he get into P10? No, Alfie Hudson shuts the door on him. And Marin has set the fastest lap. DRS enabled. Here we go. And Alfie Hudson just zooms past Dirk after the fight with Monic. Monic is now in the pits. He must have some damage infringements. So let's see here. Is there a front wing to be changed? Yes, there is. And Marin and Olaf fighting for P1 here. We saw them fight each other before in the sprint race. What about now in the actual proper full Grand Prix? On board with the Red Bull driver. Gets the slipstream going into Ascari. And the gap is just getting closer and closer. Reggie, same with him. And Kryplax. And Reggie is gaining on Kryplax. Turns to the right, down the straight. And is up ahead just before the braking zone of Parabolica. YZ up into P7, overtaking Lassie. Will the fight continue? Same with Kryplax. Kryplax is losing more and more positions. Down the straight is side by side. And even Tab zooms by both Reggie and Kryplax and is up into P3. The Mercedes is up into P3. And it's Olaf, Marin, Tab. 3 different teams on the podium. And that's Alfie Hudson. And there's contact. 2 drivers. And that's Steps and Dirk. Both going off the track. Dirk gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, while Steps just rejoins the track. We have Kryplax and we have Reggie fighting for P4. Going to Lesmo 1. And then down into Lesmo 2. Great speed from the Alfa Romeo driver down the DRS straight. He's going to try and get all he can to overtake Reggie in the Williams. While he's in the AlphaTauri with DRS, he still has some ERS remaining. He has more than half. He has more than enough. While Reggie is about soon to be harvesting. While there's yellow flags, and that's Alfie Hudson out of the session, and it's the safety car. What happened? There was a something, and here it is. It is Alfie Hudson in the wall. Must have spun into the wall, and Reggie. Tab stays out and is not pitting. Side by side down the street. Going into Ascari. They're almost side by side. The safety car stays ahead. Tab and the safety car fighting once again down the straight. And Tab's gonna try and go down the inside into Parabolica. They're still side by side. Safety car in this lap. And right at this second, we're gonna get back underway for the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix, and that's Martin going to the pits, Martin's AI, and we're back underway for the Italian Grand Prix. It's a good start for Tab, tries to get away from Olaf, and Marin Olaf gets the speed. And that's Reggie down the inside. There's contact, and there's still even more contact, but down into Curva Grande now. They need to get all the speed they can get. Reggie has the inside line down the inside. He's gonna try it all he can, side by side, and it's absolute beautiful racing here in the BP Racing League. Down into Della Roggia, and it's still Olaf keeping the second position, but Reggie has not given up just yet. Going to Lesmo 1. And he's going to go try, and there's no DRS at the moment, and that's Monic who spun. But anyway, back to where we're the fight. Reggie still trying to keep the distance and maybe even make it so it's closer. And Reggie, with all the speed he can get, he can't have ERS open as he already has pretty much half used into the exit of Ascari, and that's a little bit of loss of rear by Reggie here. And has lost the gap, but it's Olaf and Marin side by side. And who's that? That's YZ down the inside just before Parabolica gets up into P5. Can he overtake Alpha as well, going down into the straight? Exit of Parabolica, and that's a great amount of speed. Pulls to the left. YZ's up into P4. A great move by the Aston Martin driver. Dirk and Lussie side by side, and it may even fall. And Kraplax maybe he can even fall back into them. Into the first chicane now. There's almost contact once again. Lussie veers out of the way and has lost his rear and has dropped down to 10th place. Alpha going into the grass trying to overtake YZ, and that's Olaf side by side with Tab. There's contact. Olaf is pushed into the gravel, and Reggie is in the lead, back in the lead where he was at the start of this Grand Prix. And those two having a little bit of a push as Olaf falls into the gravel. Tab kind of hogging his line, which is right next to the gravel. Then that just allowed Reggie to slither through into P1, and that was a great move by the Williams driver, and great notice by the Williams driver. And Olaf may even get P2. And he's going to try and go down the inside into Parabolica, side by side. Tab had the outside line, which could have had a worse chance, but it's a safety car once again. And it's a crash this time. Now the exit of Ascari, except of actually being at Ascari. Oh, he's disappeared, so we didn't get to really see it. But Tab pits now for the second safety car, as if he's already planned it happening. But we have another safety car on our hands. Anyway, I'm back. So let's see if the same... Jesus. Anyway, we are back. So, will the safety car... Yes, safety car is in this lap. And Reggie will take it away for the Monza Grand Prix. And when is he going to go is the question. When's he going to go? He's going now. And we are back underway for the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix. It's a great start for Olaf's, and actually for YZ rather, side by side. And that's a great, and he did dance into the first corner and round into the second, and there's contact from Olaf hitting Reggie's rear. And this is absolutely beautiful camera angle. And look at this one, going to the Curva Grande. Olaf is going to try and pick up some more speed to try and overtake Reggie. Dirk up into P3 now, overtaking YZ Shaz. And Shaz actually... And there's a big fight going on over here. Everyone's just crumpled into one space. And look at this. Everyone is just joined together. Even the AI's here. Going now down into the Ascari chicane. Everyone zooms down this straight. And Olaf and Reggie also maybe having a fight. Shaz in P3. Dirk in P4. Steps and Kryplax. And just look at this. You can see 3 wide. Almost 4. Going down into Parabolica. And that's Lussie down the inside on these 2 drivers. But Kryplax stays ahead. But can Steps keep P9? And there's the Ferrari of Lussie down the straight. And it's Olaf and Reggie side by side. There's contact once again. We saw this before. We're going to see it again. Down into the Curva Grande. Olaf has the inside line. And just before Curva Grande, is he going to get ahead? Going now into Curva Grande. Down now the little short straight. End of sector 1. And Olaf, is he ahead? Reggie fighting back, going into the Della Roggia. There's contact, but Olaf gets ahead of Reggie. And even Shaz has gone through as well. And that's a great move by the Aston Martin, but Reggie will fight back. The 2 owners fight for P2. We've seen them as teammates, but now we see them in different teams fighting for positions. And this maybe will continue the rivalry that has been happening since 2021. And Dirk into the first Ascari chicane. Marin up into P6, and that's Alpha round at Ascari. But we can actually focus on P4 as Tab gets into that position. Up into P4, the Mercedes goes ahead now of Dirk in the Williams. Alpha has left the session. DRS is re-enabled, and look at Tab. He desperately wants more. He desperately wants more positions. Dirk. But here comes Dirk, going down 3 wide into the first chicane, and the Williams how has he pulled this off? And the 3 have gone into the gravel. All of this for nothing. The 2 owners and Tab into the gravel. And now are in the midfield, at the moment, one of the most dangerous parts of this whole track, of this whole race at the moment. As everyone is still right next to each other. Lussie cuts the chicane. Pardon me. Shaz zooms by Tab, who has left the session. He is disconnected. And Steps is going to try and Kryplax up into P5. And Carlos still side by side. Carlos is going to have the inside line into Scurry. Down the inside, and that's a great move by Carlos. And that's Reggie. Reggie and Kryplax. Reggie's retired from the session, and so is Kryplax. It's a safety car once again. And it's a red flag. The session has been red flagged. And that is the first red flag, I believe, of BP Racing League. That is the first red flag of any league race I've still commentated. all raced. It is a red flag. Gonna be restarting here. Here we go. Still wait for Marin, Carlox, and Olaf. Now it's Carlox and Marin. Marin, now we wait for Carlox. 10 seconds left. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, here we go. 5 red lights. Once again. Olaf on pole this time. And it is lights out and away we go once again. Good start for Olaf, very well indeed. But Dirk is going to go off with a better one up into P1. And the Red Bull may even follow him down into the first chicane. Everyone is jumbled up here in the top 11. Going down now is going to be what is Curva Grande. And look at this. Everyone just spread out on this track. But they're all so close together. Going down now, just before Della Roggia. Everyone just zooms by. And that's a spin! That's a spin from Dirk and he's in the wall! And that's another man down. And so is Carlox. Carlox in the gravel as well. So now it's Marin and Olaf and Lussi out of the mist. He started last, then made his way into P8 in sprint, is now up into P3 of the Grand Prix, the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix, but is in heavy threat of the Aston Martin from the Aston Martin of the steps. And Martin and the Sismuk, the 2AI, fight for P5. And this is actually looking entertaining, you know. The 8th and 5th are all AI. Imagine them all, then here are all just fighting. Which is a crazy sight to see. And YZ just behind to see all of it. So is Dirk. And that's a lock up from Lussi. And as they go down into Curva Grande, what can Olaf do? Let's go on board with the McLaren driver, and YC's just overtaking AI right now. And Carlox has a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. And it's a lap 16 out of 27. 12 laps to go. And the gaps are slowly starting to split up. Not this one though. Steps and Lussi down the straight. And this is a beautiful sight to see. Dirk also making his way through the AI kind of a group. I mean, they're all still in the top 10 to be honest. So this is actually pretty shocking. There's a yellow flag. Once again, that's the Carlox retiring from the session. It's a safety car. Another safety car, and that's I believe the 3rd one today. We've had a red flag, 2 VSCs, and I think 2 or 3 safety cars. 3 actually, yeah, I remember now. So now we wait once again. finally going to get back underway. We have 9 laps remaining of the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix. And it's Marin, then AI Martin, then Sickers, then Tab, then Alpha, and then finally we have actual drivers of Olaf, Steps, Dirk, YZ, and Lussie. So Marin leads, and then we have a AI from 2nd to 5th, and then 6th to 10th are actual people. So we only have 6 actual drivers still racing today. But we're going to get back underway for this Monza Grand Prix, and it's a good start for Marin, obviously, as he has loads of AI. But here we go. This is where the real deal actually happens, because this is the fight for technically P2. And going into the first chicane goes Olaf up into P5, Steps in P6, Dirk in P7, YZ down into P10, now going to be P9. So we still have a couple of AI left to go. Let's go on board with, let's see here, YZ. Shaz going to try and maybe overtake, maybe Lassie actually going to overtake Dirk here. Going in now into Lesmo was 1 and 2, now going to the second Lesmo. And down the straight, Olaf has overtaken another AI and has 2 more in his path. Now 1 more, but Lassie going now, and it's a great line into the Ascari chicane. AI kind of in the way, but here comes Lassie down into the Parabolica, and there's going to be lots of speed down into Parabolica. Can he find a move, Lassie? Can he find it anywhere? Any move approaching in general? Down the straight, ERS, Slipstream, pulls to the left. Can he make the move? He slowly starting to pull ahead of Dirk, going to the chicane. He has to back out of that move and get a way better line compared to Dirk, but his rear snaps a little bit, and now here comes Shaz, gonna try and overtake down the inside into the Curva Grande. Can't make it, slots behind, and into the chicane de la Roggia. And Olaf has regained all that time back to what it was. And now let's go on. Let's go into broadcast cam. If this camera actually moves, please, thank you. YZ overtaking Lussie there in the distance. And let's go back on board with the McLaren driver as he's now centimeters, millimeters, and is now up into P1 of the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix, and it's P1 file off with 7, now almost 6 laps to go, and Marin's actually falling into the back of the steps. Turns to the right, Steps is going to try and go down the inside of Marin, and is he going to get ahead? Yes, he is! And without doubt, he was going to get into P2 with that move, as Marin immediately backed out, because he could see the move just happen and he couldn't do anything about it. And now the gaps are slowly starting to split, but not for long. Marin closing the gap on Steps, going into the chicane. Into Lesmo's 1, and then Lesmo 2. And once again, it's all starting to separate, except for Lussie and YZ, but Lussie goes wide. Takes a fairly wide line. But you can argue at the moment, the thing is, you can argue at the moment that Dirk has won the Grand Prix. Then it'll be Marin, then it'll be YZ, etc, etc. So, at the moment, until Olaf somehow pulls the gap in these next 6 laps, or basically 5 laps, he will be getting 3rd, maybe even 4th. Let's look at the leader. He has a 5-second penalty, and he'll be down in P6, so he needs to pull something together. He sets the fastest lap at 1:21.400, and into the first chicane, Steps as DRS. And this is something that will probably be preventing Olaf's getaway, and that is the DRS. Tab in P8. I mean, it's obviously AI, so it can't really matter at the moment. But Marin, trying to keep a gap on Dirk. I mean, and look at this. There's now a gap being formed between Dirks and Steps, and you can see. Will he be getting DRS? However, I don't think he will. See, yes, he does. Okay, interesting. Down the straight, going to go into Ascari. And you can see how these drivers are spread out. All of them are in DRS range, but they just look so much spread out. And here we go. Steps will now have the chance to gain P1 on track. DRS, flap, open. ERS, not on, but he can still overtake. And he's going down the straight and up into P1. And that was an absolutely beautiful move. Into Curva Grande. And Olaf is gaining time once again. Down into the De La Roche chicane, and Shaz is up into P4, overtaking Marin. Marin is going to try and fight back for P2. Is he going to keep it though? He's not going to keep that gap, and he's most likely going to fall into Lassie. And Quaplax has left the session. And look at that speed. You can tell DRS is really benefiting some of these moves here. You can't really make a move unless it's with DRS. And now going to go into Parabolica. And Marin is keeping a very close gap with Wizzy. It's as if he's got the fucking grapple on that rear of the Aston Martin, and his DRS flap open, and the speed is just absolutely totaling up, and it's around the right, and it's up into P4, or you can say P2, here in the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix, and that's Dirk with now a 6-second penalty. So 5 stops from Lassie, that's crazy. So Dirk with a P9 will probably drop all the way down to P6, which means it will be a +6 position change. 3 laps left, and about soon to start the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. Wisey pulls to the left, and he's going to try and go down the inside, and goes back up into P2, and it's a great move by Shaz, and will Lassie follow suit? No, he can't, but he will still have the pace going down into the next couple of corners, and let's look back at the leader gap. It's still within, so Olaf is still going to drop. But the question is by how much? And Lassie loses his rear, almost spins his rear, jeering left and right. And he's dropped. Olaf is up into P1 with DRS. And it's the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. So, at the moment, the fact is, Olaf will actually be getting P4 at the moment until Shaz or Marin gets a penalty or even steps. 19 lap old tyres. But going through Lesmo 2, gonna go now into Lesmo 2, I mean Lesmo 1. And once again, DRS, we're just going to look at the leader now. There's no need to see the interval at the moment because we can also read the gaps on the leader kind of statistic. And down the straight, the gaps are once again splitting up. Except for Steps and Olaf, and going round into Parabolica. Let's go on board with Steps. And it's the final lap of the Italian Grand Prix, the 2-year anniversary of BP. And here we go, and that's YZ out, Shaz is out, and Steps has gone back up into P1. Olaf, he doesn't even need to fight it back. He knows he's won the Grand Prix. And down into Della Roggia. Everyone is on the edge of their seats. It will be P3 for Olaf at the moment. But this may be just a little event race. This may not be an actual proper race. But Olaf down the inside into Ascari. And the Steps is going to fight back and go back up into P1. But back to what I was saying. Olaf, I'm sorry, but why are you trying? But anyway, Steps. This may just be a little event. This may be just a little thing. It's not really a little thing, but Steps has won the 2-year anniversary Grand Prix. And it is P1 for the Aston Martin. And that will definitely attract some team principals to signing this great driver. And this is P1 for the Aston Martin driver. And that is something you won't see. Someone beating the likes of Olaf and Reggie and etc. And that's the Czech flag of Steps being on his back. But it is P1 for Steps at the Monza BP anniversary, 2 years of this league's existence. It's Marin in second and Olaf in third. But now everyone can just celebrate because everyone has done brilliantly to get this far here on the podium. So, Steps has got the most points today with 2 points in the sprint race, which was obviously P7. And, so can Steps, Marin and Olaf care for an interview? I mean, I'll put it in general instead of Division 1 or something.
Yo, what a chaos in this race.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yo, yo.
Is it just you, Olaf?
Sorry?
Is it just you?
Yeah.
I know it's not.
I.
Everyone's here.
Oh yeah. Everyone is
Okay.
here. Yeah.
So, yep. Hello.
Sorry?
Okay. I'll start with Olaf.
Yeah.
So, Olaf, P3, P2 on track.
Yeah.
How do you feel off the out of the back of that?
Like it was such a chaotic race, but me and Reggie and the steps of one, I don't know his name, like we kept it quite clean, but there was so much chaos. Yeah, there was so much chaos. I got an amp for 5 seconds as well, but it was just a fun race, just an event.
Yeah. And also, speaking of the red flag, um, what do you think of the first red flag, I think, in
Yeah,
BPRL ever?
I think so.
So, how do you feel out of that red flag? So, do you think you could have done better without it, or do you think you could?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like I wanted to pit to Souls like around lap 17, but the red flag was just ruining my strat a bit. Otherwise, otherwise I could stretch my stint a bit, like to lap 17 to go to the softs or the mediums.
Mhm. Well, that's all my questions for you. So, if you want, you can listen in.
Yeah, sure.
So, I don't know actually how to pronounce your name.
Marijn.
I thought it was Marine. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So, Marine, how do you feel out of P2 with obviously with the penalties downgrading couple drivers? So, how do you feel out of that P2?
Yeah, my first podium in BP for my whole life, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, I know it's not yeah, how do you say it? Best race you can do it, but
Hmm.
yeah, the first one.
If it's a podium, it's a podium.
Yeah.
So, again, back to the red flag. Same question from to Olaf. I'm going to give the same question to you. So, do you think you could have done better without it?
Nah, I don't think so because I wasn't hard before the red flag, and yeah, I think I wanted to end the race with the hearts, so I had to choose a new tire, and I choose the medium tire, and yeah, I can finish with that tire, and yeah, after that safety car, I was a little bit in doubt of the if I make the right choice, but yeah, at the end, P2.
Yeah. So, again, if you want to listen in, go ahead. So, steps. Division 2 and have beaten Division 1 drivers and Prestige. And personally, how do you think you've done that? Like, do you think that was impossible when you first went into the race? Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and again, same questions for the other two. So, do you think it? I mean, obviously, you couldn't. So, out of that red flag, which wait, what team were you again? Aston Martin. Oh, okay. I thought you were in Williams because I was gonna ask, like, oh, your teammate crashed. So, do you think that red flag benefited you, which kind of like gave you the reason you've won this Grand Prix? Mm, yeah. So, one more question. Again, is this going to give you some confidence for Division 2? Alright, so, everyone, have a good evening and just enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you later.
Ciao.
So, also, thank you to you guys for watching this hectic race, you can say. And we'll see you next time for the next BPRL race I will commentate. Goodbye and see you next time.